Welcome everyone to our Qaumi Masley talk show. It is said that Punjabis and potatoes can be found in every corner of the world. Wherever Punjabi went, they got their special place due to their hard work, honesty, and hard labor. Most of the Punjabis created history in their own countries. Among such Punjabis, Dr. Lakhwinder Singh of Seoul is one of them. Dr. Saab does not know how to speak very good Punjabi, but we will talk with him in a mixed language for the information of our audience. Let me introduce Professor Dr. Lakhwinder Singh, who is currently serving as a president of the Punjabi Association of Korea. He is based in Seoul for the last 25 years. He holds two doctorates, one in Korean studies and the other in international politics. He also received a senior fellowship from the Harvard University in the United States. In the practice of trade policy in the United States, currently he is the director of the Peace Program at the Asia Institute in Seoul. Let us welcome Dr. Lakhwinder Singh to the show. Dr. Lakhwinder Singh ji, most welcome to you in our show.
Thank you, Sat Sri Akal ji.
Sat Sri Akal. How are you today?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Saab, welcome to our show. Let us know in brief about you and your family background, and then we will go from there.
First of all, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be with you today. It's a great honor to be with you today. I think basically I come from Punjab, Jalandhar. My village is located in Punjab, Jalandhar district of Punjab.
Which village?
Patiana.
Patiana?
Hanji.
Yeah, near Adhampur, right?
Adhampur, Hanji.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Once there was I don't know, I forget his name. He was the president of SGPC. I don't know. Pyara Singh.
Hanji.
Okay, go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
Yes, and I got my school education from Punjab only. Then I moved to Delhi. I got my doctorate level degree from JN New Delhi.
Okay.
Then I moved to Korea. And then I got my second PhD from Korea. Then I went to USA for my Harvard postdoc. So since last 25 years, I am based in Seoul.
Okay. Doctor, I think we have 2-3 issues that we will discuss during our talk show. The first one is, which I understand we need to discuss, what are the major problems of Sikh community who are facing in Korea, and how the international Sikh community can help Korean Sikhs to practice their faith.
Yeah, the Sikh community in Korea is very small, and not only small, but they are separated into different cities. So we are not able to make a collective representation. So this is the biggest problem, So we have a small 2 Sikh temples, one in 2 different cities, but most of the Sikhs are not able to unite and represent our faith. So we are facing a lot of social discrimination as well as racial discrimination in Korea. So I think we are not able to, because of lack of resources, lack of collectedness, we are not able to represent our faith. But since I came to Korea last 25 years, I'm trying to keep my faith on my own. So I refuse to give up my Sikhism, my Sikh religion, But it's not easy because we don't have I live in Seoul. I don't have a worship place in Seoul. So it's very difficult to worship openly in Seoul. But all Sikhs who are living outside Seoul, they have their own temple. So they are able to practice their religion a little bit more easiness than me. But people who Sikhs who live in Korea, live in Seoul, are having a very difficult time.
Oh, I know there is one Gurdwara Sahib in Seoul or some surrounding areas. Is
And
it
a little
true?
bit surround, little far, it's around 50, 60 kilometers. So it's very difficult to go there,
Why?
because it takes around 2, 3 hours to go, 2, 3 hours to come back.
Oh, that is the separate issue. But is there any kind of restriction from the government?
No, the government is not interfering into our faith officially, but we are not getting any sports system, But society is very discriminatory, So socially, we are not getting any support from the Korean society as a whole. So we are trying to appeal to the international Sikh community to help us. I want to set up a Sikh resource center in Seoul so that we can explain to Koreans who Sikhs are, what is their mission, what is their religion says about universal brotherhood. But because of lack of resources, we are not able to. So when my children go to school, go to market, they face a lot of social discrimination. So I think there's a lot of need to set up a Sikh resource center in Seoul so that we can explain to the local Korean community who are Sikhs and what is their mission.
Did any of our community members anytime face race discrimination or hate crimes?
Of course, almost daily basis. My children go to school; they face almost every day. It's a hate crime is there. That is what I'm trying to tell you. That it's very difficult and not easy to practice our religion, openly because Koreans don't know anything about Sikhism. So they ask a lot of questions. So if we set up our Sikh resource center in Seoul, we will be able to explain. But so far. Because of lack of resources and because of lack of effort, we are not able to do anything so far. But I'm constantly trying. Every year, I organize about 2 or 3 Punjabi functions and try to invite as many as Korean to our events and try to explain them what is Sikhism, what is Punjabi culture. But we have to do it in bigger scale so that Koreans understand what is Sikhism.
Was there is any incident of hate crimes or this race discrimination? And
Yeah, even with me when I go to some restaurant and bar, sometimes they say, "Oh, you have a cab. You have a cab. You can enter this." So there are many places they bar you from entering the restaurants, entering the sometimes racial discrimination is a regular part of Korean society. So we have to educate the Koreans, But this is not official policy. Officially, Korea is very good, but we are not being received, being accepted by Korean society as a whole. So we have to educate Koreans, our religion, our faith, our why I dress like this, why I have a turban. I have to. For that, I need a support from the international community. So that we can set up a Sikh center in Korea, so that we can properly, because otherwise, if there's some incident, they could be deadly. It could prove deadly also. If there's a event of terrorism, even in a Muslim country, and we could be our target, So before it's too late, we should set up a Sikh center in Korea, in Seoul, so that we can explain to Koreans that we are Sikhs and we are different, so that we should be seen differently.
What are the potential areas of cooperation between Punjab and South Korea, and what Punjab government can do to promote and get Korean investment into Punjab?
Oh, very good question. Very good question. Thank you, sir, for asking. I think, as you know, we basically Punjab is a agriculture state. So agriculture is our main profession, And as you know, these days agriculture is facing a serious crisis in Punjab. So there are a lot of going on in Punjab agriculture sector. I think, but the government is not following the proper approach. To solve current crisis, you have to have a paradigm shift in the thinking. I think Korea can offer a lot in improving Punjab agriculture system, agriculture industry. As you know, these days our government is focusing on Punjab government is focusing on education plus hospitals. but that is not important. Most important is the agriculture sector. So if we have to just agriculture, if just we are focused on education as hospital, but ignore agriculture, we are going nowhere. I think Korea can play a very important role in smart farming. Smart farming is future. I think, as you know, Punjab faces a lot of huge mass youth unemployment. For to give employment to such a huge number of people, some people told me as many as 4 million, 40 lakh young youth is unemployed. To give employment to that kind of numbers, we need a huge investment. But because of environment, political environment in the state, that kind of investment will never come. I think the best alternative for providing youth employment is the smart farming. Smart farming, and Korea is the leader in global smart farming. Smart farming offer very best solution for Punjabi farmers. Even farmer with a 1 acre, 2 acre of land can become a millionaire by using new technology, using a new method of farming. So it creates a lot of wealth with very little investment, and one whole family can be engaged with the small investment. So it will be multi-purpose. It can make farmers very rich, and it can create a very lot of wealth for our state.
What kind of cooperation and support you were expecting from SGPC and Punjab government to reach your goal?
I think so far our government is not paying any attention to smart farming. They're just looking for investment, corporate investment. But corporate investment will not come until the proper environment is prepared. I think current government in Punjab should listen to what is happening in the agriculture sector in the world. Now the future is smart farming. Future is using a digital technology. Future is using a vertical agriculture technology. Future is smart pumping, smart watering. No, future is we have to focus on new techniques to give employment. So far, Man government has ignored smart farming completely. Now, Korea is a global leader. So what I want that Punjab government should take a proper initiative. I live in Korea for a long time, so I can help Punjab government to have a agreement or a MOU with a local Korean government, and we can start transfer of technology, transfer of methods. How local small farmers can become millionaire in a matter of days, you know.
And to practice your faith in the South Korea, what kind of support you want from the Sh੍ਰੋਮਣੀ Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, Amritsar?
I want them from the SGPC or any other Sikh organization in the world help us set up a resource center in Seoul. I want to set up a center in Seoul so that we can explain to Koreans and we can translate our text into Korean language. So I want to set up a center in Seoul, in the middle of the Seoul. Outside we have a center, but in Seoul we have no Sikh temple. So I want Punjab government, SGPC, as well as voluntary organizations, NGOs in the world, USA, Canada, to help us set up the center, because I'm only few people, you know, we don't have financial resources as well as spiritual resources to set up a center. This cannot be done by one person, you know, this is a huge effort. So if the Punjab government, SGPC or other American or Canadian or Sikh organization help us, I want to set up a Sikh resource center so that we can practice our faith openly and also introduce our faith to the Korean community.
How many Sikhs are living in South Korea total, approximately?
There are Sikhs are in two categories. Number one, who have a legal passport, who are living on visa.
How many?
Officially, yeah. Officially, around 500 people.
How many? 500 only, yeah.
Okay. So, but 500 is not in one city. 500 are different cities. So that is why in Seoul, we are very few, less than a dozen Sikh in Seoul, you know.
Which are the cities where Sikh community members are living more?
There's no more. There's no city in Korea where Sikhs are concentrated in one place. Sikhs are living in 10, 5, 6 groups, you know, in almost every city. So there's no Sikh concentration like in Canada, in USA, in England. There's concentration of Sikhs in particular area like South Hall. Nothing like in Korea. In Korea, Sikhs are separated into different cities. So that is why we have to have one common place in Seoul where we can unite our efforts and try to propagate our religion and explain to Koreans that we must be done. You know, this must be done. So far, we are not getting any support from. I approached South Korean government many times that my son is going to school in Korea. I want to raise him as Sikh, but we are not getting any support from Korean government. So it's very difficult until we set up a Sikh resource center. We can teach our children Punjabi. We can teach our children Gurmukhi, Gurwani. It's very difficult to pass our culture to next generation. So, but Korea is a very important country. So far, our government has not paid any attention. Korea is if you Google today, Korea is an epicenter of smart technology, smart farming. So we can consume a lot of products from Punjab agriculture. Korea is a net food importing country. We can import a lot of fruits, lot of food from Punjab. If we take proper care while production, if we follow the proper steps, Korea is a net food importing country. But to import food from Punjab, Punjabi farmers have to follow certain steps so that food is produced according to the procedure, according to the requirement. But so far, our government has completely ignored demand in Korea. So I think your channel is very important. Message should go to the Punjab government, SGPC, and other Sikh associations that Korea is the future. Korea is the future for growth of smart farming. Now we have time has come because, as you know, in Punjab, holding of farmers is 1 acre, 2 acre. So you cannot raise a family with this kind of land. So only option is smart farming. Only option is using a more and more new techniques and using more and more a smart method to produce a lot of wealth. So that is why Korea offer a very good practical solution to Punjabi farmers.
Dr. Saab, our community is doing the business there, or some of them are doing their job?
Yes, very good question. I'm the academics, but most of the Sikhs live in Korea are a business. They are doing a clothing business. They have some shops. They have some restaurants. They have some, Sikh community in Korea is small number, but they are very, very financially strong. So we are doing well. As you know, we are Sikhs. We believe in hard work. Wherever we go, we make a place for ourselves. As you know, I'm in Korea. I have been awarded many awards. I have make a place for myself. But same way, our business community have made a good place for themselves in business. So we are. But problem is with us that we are not able to put our effort into collective. So, and because we are very small number, we need some support from Sikh international Sikh organization. If we set up the center in Korea, it will help us in many Sikh community multiple way. Not only the propagating our religion, but also promoting our business. Promoting our business, promoting our ties with the Punjab.
Okay.
There's a fundamental problem with the Punjab government today. Punjab government is paying too much attention to health reforms, to education reforms, but they are ignoring completely agricultural reforms. Future belongs to smart farming. Smart farming cannot be done without smart technology. And Korea is the epicenter of smart technology.
What are the main issues and concerns of the Sikh community and how they can be addressed?
Main issue is that we should have a place in Korea, in Seoul, where we can practice our religion. Number two, that we should be given the freedom to wear turban while driving, other things like this. We have to follow local rules, like helmet, other things. So sometimes it's very difficult to practice religion openly. So, but I'm not blaming Korean government as such because we are not making an effort. First, we make an effort to explain to Korean who we are and what our requirement. Then Korean government will respond. But so far, we are not able to respond. Properly able to. I'm a Punjabi. I'm a president of Punjabi Sikh community in Korea. I organize events, but organize a very small level. 30, 40 people come, sometimes 100 people come to our event, and 40 Korean coming to our event is not enough. We have to organize our events in a mass scale so that 1,000, 2,000 people come, and we explain to them our culture, our Gurwani, our holy scriptures, everything. It has to be done systematically.
How much is difficult to settle in South Korea if somebody want to come to South Korea for business or for job?
It's not difficult at all. This is Korean government is encouraging foreigners to come to Korea. So I think if you come through proper channel, it's very easy, very, very easy. But because of local culture, local language, there's some social problem. Legally, it's not difficult. Legally, you can come to Korea, take a business visa with small investment. But more problem is social problem. Social culture, very different, and food habits are very different. That is a big problem. People don't speak English at all. People don't eat Indian food at all. There's no Punjabi community, no local community. Once you come to Korea, you're on your own. You have to manage your children, your business on your own. You don't have a support system. Like if you go to Canada, if you go to other countries, support system is already there. Gurudwara Sahib is already there. So as soon as you go there, you can talk to any Sikh and ask for some information, ask for some support. Try to understand how the business operate. But in Korea, nothing like this. So you have to start fresh from everything. What kind of food I can eat, what kind of house I live, what kind of business I can do. So this kind of problem is there.
How the Korean economy is doing right now?
Korean economy was very good, but recently because of COVID, Korean economy is facing serious crisis. Now our growth rate is less than 1%. So,
Okay.
and we are a little bit worried about that, because of our trade ties with Japan are slowing down. But we are very hopeful that in the coming years and coming months we will improve. As you know, Korea is one of the developed country in the region, and people are living a very healthy and financially good life. So it's very beautiful country. That's one of the reason I'm living in Korea. So I strongly invite my Sikh brothers, Punjab brothers, come to Korea and settle in Korea. It offers a lot of things, lot of technology, lot of business opportunity, lot of new idea to experiment. So any Sikh community, any Punjabi community who want to do business in Korea, from USA, from Canada, from anywhere in the world, they can contact me. They can contact me. I can always advise them what they need to do. I always provide a lot of help to my Sikh brothers from all over the world. So if you have any mind of come to Korea and try your business plans in Korea, you are most welcome to do so. And we will encourage you, we will support you as much as possible.
In which language our kids are taking their education in university, school, or colleges?
I think mostly they use Korean language. So, but if our kids study Korean language for 1 year, that's enough. You can easily do the English language course, Korean language course for 1 year, and do the PhD course completely. So Korean language is not difficult to follow. If you just spend 1 year learning language, you can do your regular course easily. Even when I came to Korea, I don't know a single word of Korea. But when I spent 1 year in Korean language, I improved my language very much. So within 1 year, I was able to do my PhD course. So I think there should be no problem. Otherwise, education in Korea is very cheap. Very cheap, cheap. Like for a graduation course, you have to pay less than $4,000 per semester. But in USA, it's more than $25,000. So, but the standard is very high. Standard is very high, and so education price comparative to USA, comparative to Canada is very low. But quality of education is very high. So it's very easy to come to Korea and study in Korean languages, Korean universities. So I strongly recommend my Sikh brothers to come to Korea and get admitted in Korean education universities.
Okay. What message you want to convey to the people of Punjab and the Punjab government, including the SGPC?
My message is that please don't ignore Korea. Korea is a epicenter of global growth. Korea can offer a lot of things to Punjab to solve Punjab's current problem. Biggest issue today in Punjab is how to create employment for the youth of Punjab. And Korea has an answer to that. Korea has answered to that. By using Korean technology, smart agriculture technology, we can create jobs for the village level, at the village level. We don't need a big investment. We don't need a corporate investment to come to Punjab and create jobs for us. That's not practically possible. So what we do, we have a MOU with the Punjab government, have a MOU with the Korean government, and then we start sharing Korean technology. So it has to be a business-centric approach, like Korea did. Now we are looking for a big corporate come to Korea, come to Punjab and set up the factory and give employment to some people. But that's not feasible now. Ask why? Because the number of unemployed is too much. 40 lakh people are unemployed. So no company, no investment can solve that crisis. But Korea has a solution. Once we start a smart farming and we have a village-centric approach, we can solve the problem of mass youth unemployment at village level. And we don't need a huge investment. Even a single farmer, even an ordinary farmer can invest money and create job not only for himself but also for 2-3 people. For 2-3 people, it is a village-centric approach. It's village-centric approach. Yes, sir.
Doctor, thank you very much for joining us, and we will meet on another show in the coming days. And thank you once again too much from the core of my heart. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Once again, thank you very much for having me. I'm so happy to be with you today.
Thank
Sat Sri
you.
Akal ji.
Thank you.